Welcome to Cloud School. Adobe Photoshop and Intermediate Graphic Design. In this video lesson you will learn the most critical methods and powerful capabilities of Adobe Photoshop.
Adobe Photoshop is a very robust tool, meaning it can perform a wide variety of functions from painting and drawing to photography editing, and it is a staple in most design firms, and a standard tool, used in professional digital design. Many of the concepts you can utilize in the program will relate very nicely to other software applications like those used in video editing and animation.
At first glance the interface can be intimidating, but we will cover the most important tools and techniques to get you up and running with as much success and little frustration as possible.
Photoshop can now be used on many devices including tablets and phones. With the Creative Cloud extension, Adobe gives you the ability to work cross-platforms, and store, or save your projects on their digital cloud storage system. This video will focus on the desktop application, and it will be a great base from which to build your graphic design skills.
Let's go ahead and have you open any JPEG file with Adobe Photoshop. Creative Cloud will likely offer you recent files and other ways to get started. In addition, you can save an image off the web, or you may use a photo from a camera to start with. Often you will make files with specific sizes and dimensions, and we will cover that in just a moment, but let's start with a JPEG that you have available.
Once the file is open, we want to get you to work with the Move tool. It is the very top tool in the toolbar. And before we can try this out, we will need to unlock the current visible layer. If you do not see the Layers window, go to the menu atop your main window and select Window and then find the Layers option. It's alphabetical, so you should find it in the middle. This is the main topic of this video and is very important to access this panel. Before we try this out, let's go ahead and unlock the current layer. The easiest way to unlock the layer is to double-click on the background layer in this panel. Photoshop will present you with a way to create a new name for the layer. The name isn't critical here, but naming your layers with good descriptions will definitely help you out in future projects and is a good habit.
Some people like to have the Show Transform Controls button checked, so that at all times, the boundary box for the layer will be visible. Others prefer to activate this by using one of the transform methods. Edit, Free Transform, or Command+T is a way to enter this editing mode, allowing you to change many aspects of the layer. Another good habit you want to develop in Photoshop is keeping layers scaled proportionally so the subject or object isn't distorted. In previous generations of Photoshop you had to hold the Shift key on your keyboard and use the control handles on the corners. If you use the middle control points or do not use the Shift key, you may end up stretching or squeezing the layer. Photoshop has now changed this, and you should see the layer scale proportionally at all times.
If you are on a PC or Windows machine, you will use Ctrl+T to get into the editing mode. Let's try resizing or scaling the layer. When you are satisfied with the changes, you can exit the editing mode by clicking on the Return or Enter key or selecting the Move tool again. It's easier to hit Return or the Enter key. Macs use the Return key and Windows machines usually have the Enter key. Same idea, it completes the task. If you try it again, remember, Macs use Command+D for Edit Free Transform. Windows use Ctrl+D for Edit Free Transform.
Let's add another image. Remember, there are copyright laws you are expected to play by as a professional, so make sure you utilize copyright-free images unless you plan on paying for the license to use the image. The general rule is if you are making money from the use of an image, or photograph or art, directly or indirectly, then you should pay for the license. For educational and personal use it's not expected or needed. Copy and paste is the fastest and easiest way to get another image added. You can practice rotating the layer. The same Shift key you added to your resizing idea you can use to constrain or limit the rotation to 45-degree changes. It has a snapping type behavior that can sometimes be very helpful. There are several other transform tools.
Let's go ahead and temporarily hide a layer so we can focus on just this new one. There is an eye icon on each layer. You can hide layers easily by clicking on the layer's eye to show and hide a layer. There are several other transform tools. These can allow you to try out interesting stretches and distortions. These are not nearly used as often as Free Transform, but it's nice to know you have some creative options. For fun, let's try out a few of these.
After you have created a second layer, you will have to save the file as a PSD or a Photoshop file. This will allow you to include multiple layers and all the other wonderful design elements you will soon learn. Let's save this test file and talk about adding text and adding styles. Styles are pre-made and customizable attributes you can add to layers, allowing you to create exciting and colorful word art like text. Go ahead and open the Styles window and we will demonstrate this in just a moment. To get started, locate the Type tool in the toolbar and then make a single click anywhere in this test file. A single click will establish a text row or line. This is ideal for titles and small amounts of writing. In a moment we will use the same tool to define a text box, but let's try the single click first. This will create the starting point for your text, but it will not wrap unless you hit enter or return to force the text to the next line. The text box is a better method for this, and when you have paragraphs or multiple lines of text. Once you have written your text, you will likely want to edit the font style and possibly other attributes. The easiest way to scale up or resize your text is to use the free transform function like we did a few moments ago. It can be difficult to know what font size might work well in various projects, but you can easily alter the text with free transform to get the look you want.
Font selection is important to convey a certain feeling or allow the text to have a design look that fits the subject. Shapes are great design elements, and Photoshop has a variety of shapes for you to try out. Let's make a simple rectangle. To do so, find the Shape tool in the toolbar. Then click and drag to define the shape. In this case we have created a black rectangle. To change the fill color, look up in the options window and you can select other colors or use the color picker to customize your own color.
Now we will move our shape over the other graphic elements and you will see the shape covers up the other layers. No problem, it doesn't quite fit, so let's first use free transform to get the size right. Photoshop has that terrific layers concept, and the shape layer we just made can be moved to the bottom of the stack to become a background. Go ahead and try this out and take a few moments to adjust the stacking order for practice.
Our next objective is to try out styles. If you don't see the window or control panel with some of the colorful styles, select Window and Styles. The easiest way to appreciate styles is just to try them out. Select your text layer and then click to select any style that you would like to try. It's a great way to add color and more advanced graphics concepts to text and shapes. It doesn't work well with photographic layers as all the pixels will be turned into the style. So in a later lesson we introduce filters and effects, which are yet another fun capability in Photoshop. If you don't have a lot styles to choose from, go to the top right corner of the Styles window and click on the icon that looks like a stack of lines. This will give you access to many other libraries of styles. Two favorites are Text Effects and Text Effect 2. These styles can be customized, and this is the topic of a future video. For now, see what you can come up with for the text and your background shape.
After only a few minutes you have enough skill to start working on a project, but first let's talk about using the zoom and hand tools. It's very common to need to get a close-up look at part of your design or jump back out to see the whole project. A couple good ideas are to draw a rectangle around the areas you want to zoom into and then zoom out. Double-click on the hand tool. That hand tool will let you slide your magnified view around. You can temporarily switch to the hand tool by holding the spacebar on your keyboard. That can be nice when you get to higher levels of editing. Once you have finished practiced zooming in and out, let's talk about a real project. The postcard project that you may have tried using Google Drawings is great practice, or you can follow along here to make an advertisement or flyer for an event. To start a new file, go up to the menu and select File, New, and we can use US letter if you see this option, or we can define the 8.5 inches for width and the 11 inches for height. Let's start an advertising flyer and practice adding photos, shapes, text and layer styles. These are the most common elements you will work with, and you can design really nice projects in just minutes. To demonstrate, we will make a flyer advertisement for Cloud School, so we can introduce you to other media arts projects and skills you can develop with a little guidance. To get going, let's take a look at a working draft for a Cloud School flyer. We need to cover pasting, placing, and drag and drop elements into the design. Many elements have been added by using the menu commands. File, Place embedded in a dialog window will allow you to find and select a photo. After you have placed the image, you will usually need to resize it, so remember the free transform command.
When you drag and drop a file onto a Photoshop document from your computer, it will create what is called a smart object. Photoshop creates a link to the file and the layer will have a mark indicating it is a smart object. Smart objects are basically a link to the graphic, and this prevents you from editing the layer contents. It wants to edit the original file, and the new look for that file would be automatically updated here and on all other files that are linked to it. It's a nice idea, but it usually causes confusion for beginners. To break this link and allow you to edit the layer, right-click on the layer, and you should see an option to Rasterize Layer. That will give you a regular layer with pixels. You can edit the layer contents.
In this design, a couple of shape layers were added, and one was filled with a gradient, and on the other one, a layer style was used, and we can edit and refine these styles. The outline or stroke and many other attributes available in styles can be edited. The text was added with the type tool. A common goal is to seek balance between your elements, and let's select each layer and make adjustments. Remember, Edit, Free Transform will allow you to do most of the scaling and resizing.
You are encouraged to experiment as you design to uncover the many amazing features that Photoshop has to offer, and Cloud School will get you on the fast track. Next time, at Cloud School, Learn how to make selections and isolate parts of a layer in Photoshop. Thank you for joining Cloud School today, and make sure you tell your friends and family they can learn how to Photoshop and more, right here.
Congratulations! You are now ready to move up the graphics ladder and use Adobe Photoshop, the premier image editing tool for over 20 years.
It's all happening up here.